Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those who are not familiar with the channel or are watching the channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense is that on this channel, we deal with everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. Unfortunately, not everyone uses logic in dealing with their problems. So, for that reason, it is called uncommon sense. First of all, I just want to let everybody know that we are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope on Twitter. As always, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the people who are supporting my channel. I want to give a huge shout out to all those who watch my content faithfully. I also want to give a shout out to all the members of the uncommon folk. And for those who are not familiar with that phrase, those are the people who have subscribed to my channel and support my channel faithfully. I'm happy to say that thanks to your love and support, I continue to get more subscribers. I currently have 78 subscribers, and I just want to say a huge thank you for all those who have subscribed to my channel. Now, for those who have not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do go live, you will have the opportunity to either catch my material live or you can catch it on the playback. I just want to let everybody know that I already placed the link to join the panel on the channel. Also, everybody is encouraged to enter their comments in the chat. Also, after this calling has ended, you're more than welcome to enter your comments. All that I ask is let's keep it respectable. If you disagree with what I'm about to say, that's perfectly fine. All I ask is to please keep it respectable. Now, on today's topic, we're going to be talking about what are the consequences should Roe v. Wade be overturned. And we're also going to be talking about what some of the long-term effects for women who do decide to have abortions. On that note, I'm going to read the fine disclaimer because just to keep it 100, I am 100% pro-life. However, everybody's views matter. So I'm just going to read to you the disclaimer. On today's calling show, we will discuss the ramifications should Roe v. Wade is overturned and the possible side effects of having abortion. In no way the purpose is to shame those who have had an abortion or encourage anyone to have an abortion. All views are welcome. While the host is 100% pro-life, there will be no shaming or calling out anyone who had an abortion or encourage anyone to have an abortion. Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron is a safe and judgment-free zone to express views. So, and I see right now, currently, one person is viewing the stream. Now, it just came to my attention that a YouTube creator one of the YouTube creators currently doing a live interview with Radical Latino, which means perhaps many of my subscribers have gone over there which is fine. It does mean that most people will catch my program on the callback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Oops, just give me a moment. Okay. Now, as you can see, there is a Word document which I just created. So on this Word document, it's basically talking about some of the most common ramifications should Roe v. Wade be overturned. And the reason why we're having this discussion because of the fact that the Supreme Court will be making a decision regarding this landlocked decision, and the results may be that the ending of Roe v. Wade. So for that reason, we're going to be discussing what's going to be the possible ramifications. Number one. Okay. Actually, what will happen is, should Roe v. Wade be overturned, what will happen is laws regarding reproductive rights will be returned to the states. And what I mean by that, it'll be up to the individual states to make their own determinations in regards to reproductive rights. Now, what may occur is in such states like New York, California, states in the Northeast, New Jersey, what are called blue states. Those states will retain reproductive rights. And some of those states might attempt to codify reproductive rights. And what I mean by that, make those rights permanent. That's one possible outcome. And then you have some states that might which restrict reproductive rights. And what do I mean by that? They might place additional conditions in order for women to obtain an abortion. They might reduce abortions performed within the first trimester. Or there might be other restrictions in regards to reproductive rights. And then there'll be states, which will remove reproductive rights at all, completely. Basically, these are red states, where prior to the leak regarding this case, have begun restricting reproductive rights. For example, in the state of Texas, my understanding, and I could be wrong, they will not allow abortions past the 6th week. Now, again, I am not trying to defend, I'm just simply stating what's the most likely facts. Should Roe v. Wade be overturned? And then in some of those states, they may not allow its citizens to go to other states to obtain abortions. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a resident residing in the state of Texas or in the state of Arkansas, and they have made determination that reproductive rights be ended. And what they might do is pass or attempt to pass legislation which will prevent citizens of those states to go to other states in order to obtain abortions. Another possible effect is that, as I stated earlier, those states where likely the reproductive rights will remain, they will tend to codify such laws, meaning making them permanent. Another possible effect regarding should Roe v. Wade be overturned is that as women may increase the use of the multiple forms of birth control to prevent unwanted pregnancy. And there's such things like the pill, the diaphragm, the IUD, the morning pill, and then for men there is, of course, the condom, and I believe there is now a birth control pill for men. Another consequence should Roe v. Wade is overturned, and this is more or less for women who have financial needs. They may travel abroad to obtain abortions. Another consequence is that women may select risky methods to end abortions. Now, what I mean by that, there may be women that will decide to go to illegal medical facilities to secure abortions, or they might use a hanger and place it inside their bodies in order to try to terminate pregnancies. Now, of course, these are only some examples of possible actions that might occur should Roe v. Wade be overturned. And then we're going to park here. Okay. So as you can see, there are many, and I repeat, many possible actions that may occur should Roe v. Wade be overturned. Now, as it is a very controversial issue. It's a very touchy issue. It's touchy because we're dealing with women's health. And of course, there's been a large outcry from many women and men regarding the possible ending of reproductive rights. One thing I'm going to ask people to please bear in mind, which is the following. There are over 30 different forms of birth control to prevent unwanted pregnancies Okay, again, let me state this perfectly clear. There are over 30 different types of birth control. Okay. And actually, in all fairness, this topic has been discussed on Latin Splaining. And Denise explained it very well when she said that there are many types, there are many ways to prevent an unwanted pregnancy. And of course, there is the 100% foolproof way, which is abstinence. But the reality is, not many people will choose that option. And that's for multiple reasons. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, if you're going to engage in sexual activity, whether it would be with one individual or with individuals, whether it be within the confines of a monogamous relationship, or if you're just going to have casual sexual encounters. The fact of the matter is this. If you decide to have unprotected sex, what you are doing is you're exposing yourself and your body to many terrible side effects. There is a thing called sexually transmitted diseases. There's also a thing called HIV. There's also unwanted pregnancies. And unfortunately, we have a situation where for some women, their immediate form of birth control is to have an abortion. Now, if you're going to engage in sexual intercourse, that's perfect. That is completely up to you. All I am saying is you need to do everything possible to prevent an unwanted pregnancy. And also something to bear in mind. And Roe v. Wade, the law of the land in 1973. The reality is that we didn't have many fraud at the time. Now, and that was 59 years ago. And the fact of the matter is, again, there are over 30 different means of birth control. Some of them, like the pill, the IUD, the diaphragm, the after morning pill, and other devices where you can utilize to prevent unwanted pregnancy. Now, what I'm going to do, just give me a moment, I'm going to share with you some of the possible side effects to having an abortion. Now, again, the whole point of all of this is to give you facts. What can occur. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to shame anybody. What it is What it is to inform you what can occur. Now, I don't know if Planned Parenthood is informing women who opt to have an abortion about these side effects. I would like to think that they do. I really don't know. No. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen again. Just give me a moment. Okay. So this is another article from the okay. The source is from the Palm Beach Women Clinic, and now we're going to get into the possible consequences uh, should you decide to have an abortion. The first possible physical effect is increased risk of preterm births. A 2018 study found that women who had more than one previous aspiration abortion, i.e., cesarean abortion, were at a much higher risk of preterm births earlier than 28 weeks in a later pregnancy than women who had no previous abortions. This study also found that women who had conceived within 6 months of their abortion procedure had an increased risk of that pregnancy resulting in preterm births. The next risk, increased risk of pelvic inflammatory disease. An untreated infection after an abortion procedure can spread to the fallopian tubes and ovaries and turn into pelvic inflammatory disease, PID. Pelvic inflammatory disease is serious and can increase your risk of infertility and ectopic pregnancy in the future. The next risk, infection and infertility. Infection is a risk that comes with any type of abortion. These infections, if left untreated, can cause a multiple of health risks, including infertility. Serious infections can damage the uterus beyond the point of being able to carry a child. Abortion can also cause infertility if not performed correctly by a medical professional. When performed incorrectly, a surgical abortion can scar the uterus and damage the tissue, making it impossible to conceive. Another possible effect, uncontrollable bleeding or damage to the uterus. Some side effects of abortion are rare, fewer than 1 in 1,000, but it can happen. These include hemorrhaging, which is the uncontrollable bleeding that in some cases can require a blood transfusion. Another rare side effect is the damage to the uterus that has to be surgically repaired. Now there are some psychological and emotional effects pertaining to abortion. Okay. Post-abortion depression is incredibly common among women and can last for years after the abortion procedure. Abortion is the termination of a pregnancy, and many women mourn it like any other loss. This is especially common among women who was persuaded or pressured into having an abortion or were unsure about going through. Excuse me, just one moment. Okay. with the procedure. This is accompanied by feelings of extreme regret, guilt, or shame. Because of this, many women decide to suffer alone and do not seek support. This can lead to alcohol and drug abuse, flashbacks, sexual dysfunction, and suicidal thoughts. Another fact is anxiety. After an abortion, many women experience anxiety about the effects that abortion will have on their bodies and their relationships. The most common worry is that they will not be able to conceive again. These fears can become all consuming and can result in dysfunctional behaviors and anxiety disorders surrounding sexuality and pregnancy. And there's also post traumatic flashbacks. Abortions can be extremely traumatic experiences for women, especially when it's not entirely her choice. It is common for women to have nightmares or flashbacks of the procedure or the after effects of the procedure. These may occur regularly around the anniversary or when someone triggers memories of the experience. These are only some of the long term effects that abortion can have on a woman. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to park it here. Okay. So, as you can see here, there are many possible consequences to having an abortion. Now, I'm going to state this again and again. The whole purpose is not to shame anyone who, for whatever set of circumstances, chose to have an abortion. It is just simply to bring truth what are the possible side effects. Also, we must bear in mind that should Roe v. Wade be overturned, some women may become desperate and choose unlicensed providers to perform risky abortions. And also, as I stated earlier, there are some women that might decide to travel abroad to have an abortion. Now, I'm not trying to say anything disparaging regarding the level of medical care in other countries, but we do have to take into consideration is that the level of medical care can vary from different countries. That is that is the reality. And the fact of the matter is, there are risks involved. Now, right now, I see that there are currently two people watching this train. And again, I would encourage anyone, if they want to enter a comment in the chat, they can do so. If they want to disagree with what I am saying, that is fine. You can enter your chat expressing how you disagree with what I am saying. Or you can join the panel and you can express your viewpoints. Again, as I stated before, um, as I stated before, everyone has the right to express their viewpoints. And the fact of the matter is, there is no right or wrong answer here. Everybody's viewpoints matter. And I want to make that perfectly clear. And I also want to make perfectly clear that if there's any women that had an abortion, um, you know, there is counseling available to help you deal with some of the psychological issues involved. The whole purpose of the stream is not to embarrass anybody or shame anybody. It is simply to highlight some things that can occur should you do decide to have an abortion. So it looks like no one is going to join the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be discussing some of my upcoming um, shows for the following weeks. Now I'm going to be doing a short um, live on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. What will be the topic? I have not made a decision regarding that. I'll be making a decision most likely tomorrow. What I will do is I'll put the notification on Instagram, and then also those who have subscribed to my channel will have the opportunity um, to either watch it live or watch it on the playback. So next Sunday, we're going to be discussing regarding the LGBTQ plus community. Now, the reason why we're going to have a discussion, we're going to state who they are. We're going to state a little bit of history regarding how the movement started. Now, I want to make a something perfectly clear. The purpose of next week's stream is not to insult anybody from the LGBTQ plus community. It is simply to have a discussion who they are and get into a description regarding what are the different elements regarding the community. And of course, it'll be a live calling. Everyone will have an opportunity to express their viewpoints. Again, I'm not here to attack anyone from the community. I'm not here to be an advocate for the community. I'm just simply going to discuss who they are and discuss to make it perfectly clear who they are and who they're not. Now, 2 weeks from today, which is the 19th, we're going to have a shout out to the fathers. And who, what I mean by that, we're going to be talking about the biological fathers, the adoptive fathers, the godfathers. We're going to be talking about the uncles and the grandfathers who provided a positive male image regarding that. Just as I did a shout out to the mothers, I'm going to do a shout out to the fathers. Now, it can be a little bit of a touchy subject because of the fact that some of us, our fathers, are not here physically. Our fathers have gone to their final reward. One perfect example is me. My father passed away nearly 10 years ago. And sometimes there might be some conflicts between our male parental figures. So it's going to be um, an opportunity to express their views, um, discuss experiences, whether it be positive or negative. Again, it's the purpose is not to, um, you know, bash fathers, but it's just to have a little, has to have an honest discussion and to be mindful that just like there are mothers who are flawed, there are fathers who are flawed. Also, I'm going on the 26th of June. I'm going to be having a discussion regarding the battle of the sexes, and the reason why, because that's a situation that has occurred for a long time. Now, some people might say, well, the battle of sexes began at the Garden of Eden when, if you believe the biblical account where Adam and Eve disobeyed God by eating the fruit that they wasn't supposed to eat, and that led to many conflicts between the sexes. Part of the problem that this conflict between the sexes is that we don't have a full understanding how women function, and they don't have a clear understanding how men function. So it's going to be an interesting topic. I'm probably going to have to state a couple of disclaimers. Now, I do see that there are two people watching the stream. So if anyone wants to enter a comment, by all means, do so. If anyone wants to join the panel, they can do so. If anyone wishes to enter the comments after the stream is over, by all means, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, I'm going to end this now so I can watch the interview regarding the radical Latino. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a brief music break, hope and see if anyone wishes to join the panel. If no one wishes, then I will end the stream. Just give me a moment. Okay. It seems like, okay. It seems like my laptop is acting up, or the issue with the Wi-Fi is occurring again. Okay, I apologize. Okay. Well, I guess this is going to be a short live, I call it, um, which does happen sometimes. So again, if no one joins the panel or expresses a comment, I will be ending the stream. But I do want to say I do appreciate those who are currently watching this live calling show. And I will also appreciate those who will be catching it on the playback. So that being said, since no one is going to join, I'm gonna wrap this up. And I just want to say thank you very much for all those who have supported this channel. Oh, one thing before I go, I do want to say a little bit in regards to the biracial community. Now, the reason why I want to comment on that is that recently I have came across some of the YouTube creators who happen to be biracial and multiracial. And they do present an interesting point of view. And for the benefit of those who may not understand what a biracial people are, there are people where one parent is one ethnic group, usually Caucasian, or Black, and another parent might be a different ethnic group. And I have had the opportunity of having some interaction with multiracial movement and Golden Goddess, Zacharias, and a couple others. And I just want to say that they are very interesting people. And unfortunately, these are people that are often misjudged by certain people where they state that they belong to a phenotype where that's not necessarily the case. It just happens that they're biracial and multiracial. Now, I'm going to be having a live call in regards to the biracial and multiracial community sometime this summer. So it'll probably be either July or August. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post up notification. Now, unfortunately, the people that I wish to invite, their social media is on private or they don't have social media for various different reasons. But if you have not had the opportunity, I would encourage you to check out Multiracial's content. Um, also check out Golden Goddess, and also check out The Angry Biracial. These are fine individuals that do provide interesting content, and they do allow other people to express their point of views. And actually, I think I have a couple biracial people who have subscribed to my channel. And I just want to say thank you very much for your support. So, being that no one else is going to join the platform and no, there's no comments coming, I'm going to end this right now. And I'm going to end it the same way that I always do. Do not let the errors of the past. Wait a minute, I think I see a comment. Let me just take a look. Good evening, Joaquin. Do you want to do you want to join the panel briefly? The link is there if you want to join the panel. So, and thank you, Joaquin, for the 18th letter for your support. And I thank you for the video clip that you sent me. The reason why I didn't air because I'm going to share it in another stream. It's just that I rather spend the time discussing the topic, which is what happens, what will occur should Roe v. Wade be overturned. I'm probably going to do a stream regarding certain people who are now using Kevin Samuels' talking points. Now, I find it very odd that a lot of the talking points that Kevin Samuels shared, okay, he was crucified by women and men for saying these things. Now we have some women who are sharing the same talking points, but yet it's okay for them to share. But when Kevin Samuel was alive, that was a huge problem. So that being said, Joaquin, are you going to join the panel? I guess that's a no. But in any case, I do appreciate the fact that even if it was a small number of people that viewed this live, I want you to let everyone know that I do appreciate. Okay. The link is there, Joaquin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the disclaimer. The views of the guests who appear on the channel are not necessarily the views of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host of Jose Negron or the channel Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image in this channel. Some of the views which guests may hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. Those who appear on the panel under the influence of alcohol, drugs, will be removed from the panel and forever banned from Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. If you don't like the contact, you can block the channel. And now we're going to bring in
Hey, shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. I'm actually home. I'm gonna have to. I can't stay on too long because I gotta let this phone charge while I'm getting my laptop together.
Okay.
But I'm not too familiar with the uh, Roe versus Wade situation. I do know it's, giving states the pretty much the right to pass the law to keep women from having abortions, but I think it's going to do little to no effect because a woman can still travel through state lines to go to a state that's legal to that she can have an abortion. But I'm kind of on the fence with it, with the little information that I do know, because you have some women that say, my body, my choice, and I definitely understand that. But I do think it has a lot to do with the power dynamic in this country. Certain people feel like they're losing their grips on power in this country due to the low birth rates within that group, from the opioid crisis and various things like that. So that's why I really think it was passed, to be honest. But I just don't understand, with all of the contraceptives and everything that's available today, why would, certain women put themselves in a position to get pregnant, and when they can avoid it to begin with. That was something that I just, never really understood, because, abortion is not something that is simple. It has, lasting effects on your body, and to go to through multiple abortions is even worse. So
Well, actually, this was a topic that Denise covered in explaining regarding that issue. Now, earlier in the stream, what I did was I discussed the possible, most likely scenarios that will occur should Roe v. Wade be overturned. Now, what will happen is in states like New York, California, Illinois, basically the blue states, there's going to be very little change in regard to reproductive rights. Now, what some states might do is they might codify those rights, make those rights permanent. However, in the red states like Texas and Montana and North and South Dakota, then reproductive rights may be done away with, or they might put further restrictions in regards to abortions. The fact of the matter is, and this is something that Denise highlighted on her streams, that there are over 30 different types of devices to prevent unwanted pregnancy. But for some reason, and again, let me make this clear, some women choose to use abortion as their first means to prevent an unwanted pregnancy instead of using the other forms of birth control, which is like the diaphragm, the pill, the IUD, the morning after pill. And of course, men can use condoms. And I think now there is even a pill for men. Um, so we can avoid unwanted pregnancies. Now, what's your thoughts on that topic?
I think, as well, a lot of men need to be responsible and protect use protection as well when it comes to engaging in intercourse, to to prevent this from happening. It's irresponsible all around the board. I understand that, people, like to do their thing, people like to be intimate and everything, but just the irresponsibility is off the Richter scale, because, like, once you have a child, that's another life. So when you're, I can understand that mistakes happen, but, you want to try to limit that amount of mistakes as much as possible by just trying to have, preventive protection. It's just I can't really wrap my head around the idea. I don't know what people think. I don't know what's going on in people's minds a lot of the times.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm 100% pro-life, but I'm not fanatical about it. And also earlier in the stream, I did share what are some of the possible side effects um, for women who have abortions, particularly if they have more than one abortion. One of them is the higher risk of premature births. Also, there's a possibility of infertility. There's also damage that could be done to the uterus if the procedure is not performed properly. So, what's your thoughts on that on the following?
Pretty much the same. I'm either way. I can definitely I'm for pro life, but if a woman feels like that she wants to, prevent having a child, then I can be for that depending on the circumstances. If it's a situation that we're talking about, assault or, various things like that, I can definitely understand that. But just from, you know, deleting children from just being irresponsible in intercourse, I can't really get with that. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't have, like I say, I don't know too much on the topic, but from the little information that I do know, based off of what I'm seeing, a lot of this could be avoided. A lot of this can definitely be
I
avoided.
it can't be avoided if adults, and I grant I said adults, not 13-year-old kids. If adults decide to engage in adult sexual activity, whether it be in a monogamous relationship or with multiple individuals, if they want to avoid unwanted pregnancies, they really need to think about the other types of devices that are available, and it's freely available for them to take advantage of if they're going to engage in sexual activity. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should abstain. I mean, even though abstinence is the only 100% pure way to prevent unwanted pregnancy, the reality is people are going to be sexually active. If you're going to be sexually active, then you need to be responsible. You need to think responsibly, which means whether you have one partner or multiple partners, you should do everything possible to reduce not only the risk of unwanted pregnancies, but the risk of getting sexual diseases and HIV.
I absolutely agree, but it's just like a lot of people, and I don't know, maybe it's just some people, they have a lack of self worth because I can only see a person doing these things that have a lack of self worth. I understand, with certain women, they want to be loved or they may feel like that lack of love. So with that comes irresponsibility, you know, because when you don't care about yourself, you can be more irresponsible than the average person. And, I've heard women, say, having children, I had children because I know my children would always love me or various things like that. But I don't know if some women actually, get pregnant and then have second thoughts after or what's going on. But, like I said, with these irresponsible men as well, okay, yes, I understand because it's always, the 50-50 argument. Well, these men need to, yeah, I definitely agree. But it's not like other men can track these men down and force them to handle their responsibilities through force. We can't do that. And the fact that that man he's not carrying a child, he can go off and just, wander on into into his next life and forget that he even have a child. With you being the one that's carrying a bag, you should be more responsible when it comes to that, because you're going to be the one that's having to carry this child. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what to say, really.
Well, if you take a look at the actual decision um, with Roe v. Wade, which made reproductive rights possible, it stated that in the first trimester, there will be no limitations regarding abortions. Now, when it comes to abortions in the second trimester, it was permissible, but with certain limitations. And that originally there would need no abortions performed in the third trimester. Now, I understand that it is, the women like to talk about my body, my choice. I mean, but yet you see some women who make irresponsible choices regarding who they share access to their body. And then whenever a man, or correction, a boy, abandons her, and then she tries to find someone else uh, to pin the pregnancy on. I mean, and the fact of the matter is, we do have the situation where there's certain men that believe that that the biological father, only to find out that they're not because of deception, or perhaps because of desperation, because of the poor choices some women have made.
Absolutely. I agree. I've heard stories of women getting pregnant just to try to keep men that may have not wanted to be in relationships with them. Of course, women getting pregnant for um, government aid and different resources like that. I've heard it all, man. I've definitely heard it all and seen quite a bit. I'll say this once again, and this is the third time I'm saying this, but I just don't understand, you know, how this could be so difficult. If you don't want to have a child, instead of exterminating this life, you can prevent that life, altogether. If you just be a little bit more protective. And
Well,
I don't get it. It's a lot of stuff going on in this world, Jose.
well, you know what? Don't try to understand the crazy. I mean, that's what it is, because look, you have certain women that they don't have a clue what about their own bodies, but yet they are engaged in adult activity, and then they choose to engage in activity without any protection, which means not only there is the risk of an unwanted pregnancy, but there's also the risk of sexually transmitted diseases and HIV.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, so I did, like I said, I did discuss the ramifications what might occur, and some of them might be is that in those states where abortion may be outlawed, they might try to pass laws to prevent its citizens to go to other states to obtain an abortion. Or what happened is you might have some women that might travel abroad to have an abortion. Now, let me make, and I stated before, and I'm going to state it again. I am no way trying to denigrate what are the medical resources of different countries. But the reality is this, not all medical resources are the same. That's all I'm saying. Rakim, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, okay. So, is there anything else that you wish to add on the topic?
Actually, no, not at this moment. With the little information that I do have, I've put in my 2 cents, and I will
Okay.
have to look further more into researching the topic to be able to give a clear perspective on the landscape of what's going on. But yeah, that's really all I got to add to it. It seems like a bunch of unnecessary hurdles, and you know I understand that you have a lot of feminists that's in turmoil, with this that's going on right now. And I'm not saying that, the people that are making the laws doing it for the right reasons or anything like that. But I think everybody just needs to take a step back and, you know, try to reevaluate, what would be is it even necessary to actually, eliminate this child and put your body through all types of changes and everything just because you can? Or would you just want to be able to be prevented of that altogether so you're actually able to, so you're actually ready to have a child? And so
Yeah.
that's all I got to really say on it. But thanks a lot,
Okay.
Jose. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you allowing me on your platform.
Yeah, I don't know if you can stay. If you can't, fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you on on the background. If you can, if you have to go, it's understandable. Just want to let you know that next week I'm gonna be talking about the LGBTQ plus community, and I'll be discussing who they are and who they're not. And the whole purpose is just us to have a mature discussion of the community. I'm not here to denigrate them. I'm not here to support them. I'm just simply here to give you the facts. Because unfortunately, even today, we have some people that have misconceptions regarding the LGBTQ community. Good evening, KFIT. I'm just getting ready. What I'm going to do is okay. Let me just.
Shout out to K Fit. It's always good to see K Fit here.
Yeah, actually, she had a interesting topic on her platform last night regarding what was the first time that you lost your virginity. Okay, and okay, well, okay, it's it's okay. I'm just getting ready to wrap it up. If you want to join me on the backstage, that's perfectly fine. Oh, now people, you know what? I appreciate, you know what, people, I appreciate it, even if you just get in the last couple of minutes regarding the stream. As always, I do appreciate all the love and all the support that I've gotten from the uncommon folk. So, okay. Now I see what I'm going to do is, KFIT, if you want to join the panel, by all means do so. The link is there. And also, if anybody wants to join the panel, by all means do so. Uh, we can have a brief discussion regarding the topic. Now, for the benefit of those who are watching it late, the purpose of the topic is to talk about what will happen should Roe v. Wade be overturned. So what I did in the beginning of the stream, I discussed what are the most likely ramifications regarding should Roe v. Wade be overturned, which it will go back to the states, and then in the individual states will make a determination regarding what will happen. There will be some states like New York. Okay. All right, no problem. No problem. It's okay. It's okay. Perhaps you can join next week's live call. But just to give everybody a brief summary. So the ramification is should Roe v. Wade be overturned, is that you're going to have some states that are going to maintain reproductive rights. Some states are going to codify those rights to make them permanent. You're going to have other states that are going to put further restrictions in regard to reproductive rights. And then you're going to have some states that are going to outlaw it completely. And then there are some states that might put down laws to prevent its citizens to go to other states to obtain abortions. And also another ramification is you might have some women that might travel abroad to secure abortions. Another consequence is hopefully, well, it might lead to an increased use to the more than the 30 different types of birth control to prevent not only unwanted pregnancies, but also sexually transmitted diseases. I just want to let everybody know, if you have not done so, please subscribe to KFit Now. She has a channel called Wine. Okay. It's KFit Now, and she airs on Saturday nights on YouTube, and usually her streams are usually under an hour. So I want to encourage everyone to please subscribe to her platform. So that being said, I'm going to you're quite welcome. I mean, the fact of the matter is we all need to support each other in our respective YouTube journeys. And of course, I just want to give a huge shout out to KFit Now and the 18th Letter for entering the chat. I thank the 18th Letter for entering his observations. And of course, I'm happy with the fact that I have gained 2 more subscribers. So that being said, I'm going to close the same way that I always close. Do not let the errors of the past damage your future. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged. Because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. That being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And I thank you very much for your support. Take care, have a blessed night, and peace out.
Be strong.